The conversation is definitely on site, man. Today we're doing hot takes. We in the virtual room. SK Vibemaker, DJ Illness.
Back once again, my bro.
That's what I'm waiting for.
The conversation is remotely on site. First time, let's get it, man. We couldn't wait another 2 weeks to have this conversation or get our takes on this conversation.
You know what
so,
I'm
my
saying?
brother, without the dilly, without the dally, let's get into it. What are you telling me, bro?
Kendrick Lamar has landed on Future's track. It's like that. The new album is We Don't Trust You. It's with Metro Boomin. And Kendrick Lamar has gone absolutely crazy. MF, the big three, it's just big me. And when he's talking about the big three, he's talking about Drake, he's talking about J. Cole, and he's talking about himself. Because they're who are referred to as the big three. But he's saying it's just big me. And we don't know what provoked this beef. We know that there's been a lot of subliminals back and forth. But Kendrick has said that he's having no more of it. And he's gone absolutely crazy. And everyone's talking, man. How you feel about the verse?
I think you need to stop capping. We know what provoked this beef, bro. There is like a long trail of breadcrumbs that when you collect together form a loaf of bread. He declared on the Control verse back in whenever that was that
2014.
like 2012 or something like that?
2014.
Okay, so 2014. In 2014, he declared that he's not friends with these guys. He's here for the competition. He delivered a freestyle on the BET Cypher. And he said, I'm going to put that emotional rapper back in whatever he said. There have been breadcrumbs. That's on Kendrick's side of it. And on Drake's language, he said a bunch of bars that were said to be for Kendrick Lamar. These guys
language is what I cite, though. I cite language, but that was a sublim, and it's not. It's up for interpretation if the cap fits. But this verse here is like very direct, man. All your dogs, first-person shooters, the references are there.
I mean, listen, this is as direct and as at your neck as you can ever get in lyrical war. I mean, on first listen, I was just blown away by the absolute audacity this guy has to just go, listen, the subliminals are done. We're outside now. Do you know what I'm saying? When I heard first-person shooter, I didn't listen to it thinking that any of that was for Kendrick. If anything, I clocked that J. Cole gave him some props on that record, like as in even mentioning the notion Big Free. I don't know if we'd heard Big Free before J. Cole said it on that record, but when you listen to it again, J. Cole's saying, I'm numero uno. You get me? The big three, I'm not 3 or 2, I'm number 1. So J. Cole's outside. He's saying he's the best. Do you know what I'm saying? Drake, I don't know if Drake's recently said he's the best, but he's getting on to everybody that's not on the level that he's on. And Kendrick is not here for the link-ups. He's not here for the clicking up. He's here for the beef and for the war. And I think it's very important that we state that it seems that he's not trying to, Biggie and Tupac this thing. He's here for the sport. He wants everybody to know that he's lyrically the best. And should I say it?
You feel like he's the best.
He's the best. That wasn't even with chest. That was with chest and diaphragm.
We really need to quantify what the best is. And I want to say that, yes, Kendrick Lamar has been very direct with this verse. And he was very direct on the Control verse as well when he reeled off loads of people's names on Big Sean's track back in 2014. He reeled off Drake. He reeled off J. Cole. He said that he's friends with them. But on this track, he's going for their neck. He reeled off Mac Miller. He reeled off J Electronica. Loads of artists. R.I.P. Mac Miller. Of course, man. A great MC. But the thing is, Kendrick Lamar done that. But then Drake said afterwards that in an interview that he'd seen Kendrick Lamar since then and he was all cool. So what is it, man? Do we want the tension or do we want the sport?
All I'm saying is this. Where I'm taking my hat off to Kendrick Lamar on this diss is that he didn't go and get some tea and spill some tea like Pusha did. This is not a tea verse. This is a verse where he's walked into the studio or he's been sent the beat, however they've worked together. Metro Boomin has played a record with a sample from E40, West Coast music. Kendrick, obviously from the West Coast. And Kendrick has literally adapted the sample of the beat into the diss. Yeah, that is a skill. He's taken what's been given to him and he's flipped it up into the diss. If you want to know what he's talking about in the clicking up and the 40 water, that goes back, harks back to E40 and the click. who produced the record that the record is sampled from. He's showing you how lyrical he is. And I said on the podcast, I say again, not many people, if anybody, can take it to where Kendrick is willing to take it. And I'm going to go right ahead and say it. This verse, you know, you might not necessarily blow you away, but when you deep it and you do the breakdowns, there are many available on social media. You understand how talented this man is. And I'm going to say it. I've already said, if I haven't said it, Kendrick is the best. My reasons for that span a little bit more than just lyricism. But in the lyricism thing, he is my favorite. And I'll go as far as to say, J. Cole, you have been slapping people disrespectfully for too long on their song. What you did to Lil Yachty was rude. You went on 21 Savage record. It was called a lot. What you did was a lot. Now you have met your match. You have met somebody who is willing to go the distance with you. Where are you, bro? And last but not least, Drake, I'm going to say it. I might never get a Drake drop. We might never get a Drake interview, but it is what it is. I don't think he's got it in him to reach where Kendrick is. That's it.
I just want to add another one in as well. What J. Cole done on Johnny P's Caddy with Benny the Butcher was madness as well. And I feel like that shows the lyricism tier of where J. Cole is. And I don't want Drake to be underrated or underestimated as well, because I feel like a lot of people are doing that. Like Jay-Z back in the day spoke about, he dumbed down his lyrics to double his dollars, and he spoke about, and he also had a Common Sense reference as well, that he hasn't been rhyming since Common Sense. He's an OG rapper. He's very lyrical. So I feel like Drake is the one with the biggest discography when it comes to the three artists. Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole. Drake has the biggest discographies, the most albums, the most projects. So maybe at times he has, I don't want to say run out of things to say, or maybe not being as inspired, or maybe also wanted to dumb down for more universal. But I'm saying he's wanted to be more universal. So he hasn't always gone with the most lyrical thing. It doesn't mean that he's not capable. And I want to also say that I think it's a lot tighter than people believe between these three. People are writing off Drake. I might say Drake is third in my listing. I might say J. Cole is first. I might say Kendrick is second.
Don't mind. This is ONSITE. This is
my preference. My preference.
Let's go. I liked
J. Cole. I liked J. Cole. He was here before Kendrick, and I liked him before. I would say that I like J. Cole more as the type of rapper that he is and the lyricism that he brings to the table. Kendrick Lamar is a lot more creative. I put Kendrick Lamar in second place. Drake is the most universal. I put him in third. If we put them all on the street corner in a cypher, I think that it will be a lot closer than people think. Do you know what I'm saying? Kendrick said on this track, I'm way too paranoid for a threat. He said, F sneak dissing, first person shooter. I hope they came with 3 switches. Very direct with it. He also said, your best work is a light pack, and Prince outlived Mike Jack. Nigga, boom!
Okay, so the Prince,
boom!
The Prince outliving Mike Jack bar might just be the bar that gets under Drake's skin. It might just be the bar. If you haven't heard the breakdowns or you don't have any knowledge of why Prince outliving Mike Jack is unbelievably rude, then you need to watch some of those breakdowns. I ain't got time to get into it.
It's twofold. It's because Prince outlived Michael Jackson in life, but he's also debating about whether Prince's musical catalogue outlived Michael Jackson, when Michael Jackson was the bigger megastar, but people debated whether Prince was more the musician because he wrote and produced the majority of his material. So it was always a debate between
you can break
Prince
it down
and Michael Jackson.
as much as you want. Let me just land this point. The point is that we're talking about some of the greatest rappers that have ever done this rap thing. So me putting Drake at 3 is not necessarily a disrespect on Drake. Like, this is 3 rappers of the millions of human beings on the planet. We're talking about the peak of Mount Rushmore. We're talking about the best of the best. Being number 3 in the best of the best is not a disrespect. Unfortunately, in football, you had Cristiano Ronaldo and you had Messi, and they were debated as the best, and Kevin De Bruyne never got upset. I'm not saying that Kevin De Bruyne is Drake. What I'm saying is, in the rap game, we've got 3 and we're putting them all up against each other. You don't want to you don't want to count Drake out, and I don't want to count Drake out. I don't want to count J. Cole out. I want either one of the two to prove me wrong. That's where I'm sitting. Do you know what I'm saying? But right now, nobody can't tell me different.
We want responses.
Something that I've got to give credit to my guy, Dreddy. He's a legendary UK producer doing his thing out on the West Coast right now. He put a tweet out there and he said, you know, he puts a lot more respect on dancehall and it puts a lot more respect on UK clashing. That's what we call it over here in the Caribbean. We call it clashing because there's no long thing. Either the man them get on stage and they go back to back to back, or they have their dubs that run all year, or in the UK, you get that the next day.
In dancehall, you saw Vibes Cartel and Movado. You know what I'm saying? You saw Vibes Cartel, Movado. More recently, you saw Steph London and Jada Kingdom. In grime, you've seen countless MCs go at it in the UK.
Right, I'm going to stop you because on the next ONSITE podcast, we're talking about rap beats. We're talking about all of them and we're going to go in depth. What I'm saying is the war is on. The gauntlet is set. Let's see what's up, huh?
The thing is, like, maybe Drake or J. Cole might say that it's not validated for them to respond. How about that? They might say it's not validated. They might not, you know, there's been many rappers that have not directly replied. They might question what they're going to get out of it. And I also want to address the fact, Ills, SK Vibemaker, DJ Illness ONSITE, you know, we're doing a quick take right now. The big three, when we talk about big three, is it the big three when it comes to lyricism? Because there's a few other rappers that should be put into that category. And this big three is just being made up by the fans and then embraced. And then also, if we're talking about the big three when it comes to like big as in like who's the most impactful or the biggest commercially, maybe there's a couple of other MCs or rappers that should be in there as well. So this big three thing, I don't know if it really is the big three though.
Hear what I'm saying. Kendrick Lamar's thrown the gauntlet down. He's had enough of all these rappers clicking up and doing this fake stuff. How many times have we watched an interview and somebody said the industry is fake? Kendrick Lamar ain't doing none of those interviews. He's on the mic where it matters, where it counts, and he's challenging anybody. So you see all these rappers that you're talking about that can get an honorary mention. Come outside. I'm not calling none of your names until you come outside. No Diddy, no pause. Come outside, bring your pen, bring your bars and deliver. And that's what time it is. It's time to show and prove, guys. And it's literally like that.
And I'm happy that it's not sublims at this point anymore, because I feel like people that know that Drake and Jay-Z have been going back and forth for years and still make tracks together. But it seems like Kendrick Lamar is like, I ain't making no tracks with you guys, because there was a joint project rumored for many years between Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole, and it seems like that's never going to happen now. And there was the collaboration between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, Poetic Justice, people might remember, and there's been no more. So it seems like we're not going to get no more collaborations with these. It seems like it's quite frosty, and I don't know if it was calculated, the coming together of Drake and J. Cole on first person shooter, because it seems like Kendrick Lamar's taken that as a like war, like as an art of war.
I see what you did, and what I'm here to say to you is that the person who is winning and losing at the same time in all of this is Future. This track's on Future's album. We're not even talking about Future. Future and Drake are rumored to have a beef. Future and Drake and Metro Boomin apparently have a beef. It's literally putting a line down the middle of this fake friendship rap game, which is something else that I ain't got time for. We listen to rap because we want what's real. I mean, at least I do. I'm sure you do too. We come from a school where you get on to the people that are faking it. So right about now, shouts out to Potter Paper. The real is literally back in style and it's up. Let's get it, man. Let's really, really get it. I'm watching this and I would love to eat my words. So the gauntlet is set. Drake, J. Cole, please make me eat my words. But right now, and not just right now, I've been to see this guy at least 2 times. And when he steps back into the country, I would definitely be going to a Kendrick Lamar show again. So I'm saying Kendrick is the best. I just said it. I'm not taking it back. Chest, diaphragm, every part. What are you saying definitively now before we wrap this up? Your top 3.
This is ONSITE hot takes, and I just want to add in as well that unfortunately a few people online were talking about the unfortunate fact that Big Sean dropped a song on Friday called Precision, and it's been totally overshadowed by this Kendrick Lamar feature on Future's track. But I also think Future's album has kind of been overshadowed, and also it's also been put under a little bit of a microscope is what exactly was Future doing on this song? Because everyone's skipping to Kendrick Lamar's verse. But what exactly was Future doing on this song? Because Future's going to perform this song potentially, but it's not going to be the same if Kendrick Lamar don't come out doing the live, his verse. Like, he's absolutely overshadowed Future's album and he's burnt him on this song. And I don't know if I was Future, whether I would have said, boy, maybe I'm not going to put this out, or I might just give this song to you. What do you do if you're an artist in this situation, man?
Listen, you see, I'm not sitting on no fences. I'm not speculating. I'm saying my opinion with my chest. I have respect for everybody that we're mentioning. First things first, Big Sean, it's time for you to show and prove. It's that you want to drop I mean, I'm not sure how many projects he's dropped recently. I haven't really been keeping up with it. If you want to be heard through the noise, you really have to come outside. Future knew what he was doing when he dropped this project. He knew, Metro knew it was somewhat calculated, that they knew what they were doing. Future's got so many records. Whenever he takes to the stage, he don't even need to perform anything on this project. He got so many records, so I don't think that's something he's going to lose any time
Sleepover
with his production team when they're planning. Nah, they're not going to lose any time when they're planning the next tour. What are we going to do with this record? I don't think so. Listen, man, it's ONSITE, DJ Illness. I ain't got nothing more to say.
Rap wins, man. And we just hope that we're going to see these replies from J. Cole and Drake, because I feel like if we don't get these replies, these direct replies rather than subliminals, people are going to start looking at them in a certain way. Like, they weren't really built for this. They weren't built for this. I feel like J. Cole's more in his element. Maybe Drake doesn't want to like reply, but we're going to see.
I would want to just touch on something before we get out of here. Something that you said in terms of what do you get out of this? I feel like the level that these three rappers are on, this is going beyond fame. It's going beyond money. This is now all about ability. They've all thrown down the gauntlet. They've all individually thrown down the gauntlet. Drake saying, who's the GOAT? Who's the GOAT? Who the GOAT? So listen, now it's really time to show and prove, and I'm here for it. As long as this stays in the music and don't spill out into some nonsense that it doesn't necessarily need to be, you're right, man. Rap wins.
Real talk, man. Check out the YouTube channel. We got a new one, man. We got episodes. ONSITE is a podcast. SK Vibemaker, DJ Illness.
Back once again. Brah.